Of the roughly 600,000 asylum seekers to reach the European so far this year, the majority has first landed in Greece, having set off by boat from Turkey. After marathon talks on Thursday, European leaders announced a preliminary deal with Turkey aimed at halting that flow.
Refugees who are in Turkey to stay in Turkey, that's the first point, which is important. And the second point is preventing refugees and migrants from travelling through Turkey to come to the European Union.
The deal could ultimately lead to joint EU-Turkish Coast Guard patrols and large refugee camps established in Turkey with the help of Brussels. In return for Ankara's assistance, leaders agreed to speed up the easing of visa rules for Turks travelling to the bloc and to get talks on Turkey one day joining the EU back on track. Turkey's request for almost $3.5 billion in financial assistance is also being considered. Several member states were cautious about making too many concessions to Turkey, but most EU leaders are convinced that efforts to contain the refugee crisis will fail without closer cooperation with Ankara.
Tonight, leaders took some important decisions that will help secure the Union's external borders.
Most EU leaders agree that if the bloc's external frontier cannot be more effectively controlled, then the Schengen open border zone to which most member states belong will quickly become unworkable. Leaders also agreed to work towards an expansion of the funding and powers of the bloc's border security agency Frontex and to mandate it for the very first time to deport people who fail to gain refugee status. In terms of that action plan for Turkey, it really is in its preliminary phases, but it does bring the negotiating positions of Turkey and the European Union just that little bit closer. The negotiations will continue over the coming days. German Chancellor Angela Merkel intends to fly to Turkey on the weekend to hold face-to-face talks. She agreed that there was no major breakthrough last night, but she said at least leaders couldn't be accused of doing nothing. And the European Council President himself, Donald Tusk, said he was cautiously optimistic now about this deal reaching fruition.